Hey guys, Pete here. About to replace the belt on a 2012 Outlander 800 Max. Did a few steps ahead. I'm going to be jumping through the video in pieces. It's too hard to do with one set of hands. So this is the belt cover here. Covered with tons of these small bolts. I'm going to bring it in. Just a Torx. It's a Torx head. Goes on like so. I've already loosened these off. These will back all the way out. Gone ahead just for ease. I haven't tried ever taking the belt cover off without removing the plastic, which is right here. And just a couple bolts along here. Anyway, next shot that I'll have, I'll take this cover off. Like I say, you're just taking these bolts out and back. Alright, so just remove the CVT cover. Here's the bolt I was speaking of. I did not have one myself, so I purchased one today. They're not cheap. They go right in here. You see this one? I'm going to try to get close. I don't know if I got enough light here, but not threaded, not threaded, threaded. Not sure if you can see the difference. Anyway, that's where that bolt goes right here. And it threads in the whole way. And what you need this for is to separate that back clutch, because as you can see, that belt's tight right now. You're not getting that off of there, so this has to screw in. It pushes the clutch apart. You can hear it already. Listen, I'm just doing that by hand so far. I do got to get a wrench. Take this a little further. Oh, she's getting loose now. It's getting tricky with one set of hands here. A little bit more. Alright, here's one stock belt. This is a stock belt to come off. And what it was doing for me, guys, the reason I even bothered replacing this, so I felt a little surging. Like little surging. Then when I get up against something tight or down into a mud hole or something, you get that little wee bit of, I don't know, resistance or something. You hear a little squeak out of the belt. My clutches seem to be pretty clean, so it must be the belt. So what I did is I bought a heavy duty belt. This is the belt that I got. It's for a Maverick, actually. They said it's heavier. I'm just trying to see if there's a part right there. Anyway, it's not cheap. It's around $200 almost. So I really hope I needed that belt, because it's expensive. Anyway, this will be going into a bag and going into my box up there, so I will never be without. So worst case scenario, it gets put on in the field and I get to drive home. On the belt, so she says rotation. Very, very, very important. Okay? Just the same way you took it off, I'm putting on the new one. I don't know if there's any slight difference in size, so I may have to tighten this a bit, but let's see here. Oh, no, it looks good. Get her down. Tighten that just a hair, I think. Yeah, just a hair. So maybe it is just a bit thicker than the other one, which is a good sign. Oh, almost. So there she is. There's the belt on. Now I'm just going to back this off. Right here. Now you notice it's not coming flying out by itself. The belt is physically holding it back there. Alright. Get this bolt out. There's the bolt out. And this is going to slowly come back on its own, but what will really happen is when I start the bike up, it'll slowly come back. Or come back in a hurry. Alright, so as you can see, rotation is the way it's going to run right here. It's going to go boom, 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 boom. You'll see here in a second. I'm going to start the bike up. Just want to make sure everything is clear. Got my bolt out to get that off here. Alright, so let's give that a go. And you're going to I am in park. See how these clutches work. That's how it all works. That's how the clutches work. You notice that's tightened right back up now, right sitting up top where it should be. They look like when you take them out. It's got like a little grommet right here that slides back and forth, so you can't over tighten them. You got a stopper, you got your little plug. That's that. Just make sure before you start to go ahead and put everything on that you make sure this gasket is very, very flat and very clean. I mean, you'll see the areas where it touches. I've already gone ahead and cleaned this. Like even here you can see the line from the gasket. You can see it has different grooves in it along here. Yeah, just make sure that's very clean, free of debris. One thing you don't want to get into a big mud hole and realize that your belt is not safe. Right back. Just gonna go ahead and put this on. Alright guys, there it is, all done. All back together. Tricky little part, that little fella in there. A little plastic tab, which is right here. There's a metal washer to it. The metal washer goes on the back. Helps the plastic. Very nice and solid. You need an extended. This is all 10mm. Everything here was 10mm, and that was the same Torx as this. Deep socket for these two back here, or if you want to put a wrench up underneath, it was just easier for the ratchet up underneath. Anyway, everything else is pretty much straightforward. A little tricky getting these lined up. I found I had to line up the plastics first up here and on the front, and then just slide it back and forth down here until they lined up. I initially put these two in and I couldn't get the plastics lined up because it was pulling on here, so I swapped it around. Again, the plastics are all back in place, and that is that. I will be going probably about 45 minutes, almost maybe an hour total time right now to do this. Say the belt part was really fast. That was really the plastic that took the time. There's the light there. Anyway, I'm going to be moving on, make a whole different video just on the front brakes. I'll say there's a fellow out there right now that already has some done, but we're going to make another one just in pieces. Thanks guys, my first video on the bikes. Thanks, bye. Hopefully it's encourage everyone that has your Can-Ams to there's two bolts that come in backwards this way. You only access them from the back. I don't know, maybe a Can-Am mechanic or something like that knows a better way, but if you ever find your box loose, good luck trying to find this. But in the daylight here, up over top, I don't know if you can see, but anyway, over top the battery. I can't see right now, I'm just shoving my phone up in there. Should be a bracket, and there's a bolt on left and right of it. And anyway, keep them babies tight. Keep those babies tight.